Well, the Swiss banking system, known for guaranteeing client privacy, has agreed with the IRS here in the States to release the names of thousands of Americans suspected of tax evasion and fraud. The suspected tax evaders have until September 23rd to fess up or receive the maximum penalty possible. So is this the beginning of the IRS and Fed's plan to start paying for bank bailouts and other federal spending? Joe Krier, president of Krier Wealth Management, says yes, it is. And before it's over, they'll be coming to you as well. So we're going to find out how this is all tied together. But I guess my first question is, when it came to Swiss banking, when it came to it being a haven, when did this game change?
Yeah, for 60, 70 years, it was always the place to stash money. Well, in the banking crisis, the Swiss were not left out of it. And, as they kind of moved along, part of what they did was buy Payne Weber in the United States, and that's where UBS came into play. Well, UBS was having trouble as well. Guess what? They started taking money from the Swiss government, and they got Fed funds from the U.S. government, second or third only to Merrill Lynch and Citicorp. So all of a sudden, we kind of had ownership. You and I, as taxpayers, had ownership in a Swiss bank, whether we knew it or not. And the Fed said, hey, this is our opportunity to get at some of that information.
But this financial chess game changed again back on Wednesday.
It did. The Swiss government kind of said, hey, we don't like the way this is going. We're getting rid of this. And they sold their 331 million shares. And by the way, they made a nice 30% profit on that transaction.
There you go. All right, let's talk more about this Swiss mess. How many accounts are we talking about?
Well, it's kind of interesting here. They're saying 4,200, but they believe, because of what I've got up there, that this undisclosed list, they're not going to tell the people who are suspected of tax evasion or fraud until after the September 23rd deadline. So they're already getting people stepping forward. And the people that step forward and offer information before the deadline, they're going to only be hit with interest and penalties and not be prosecuted for jail time. So they're not sure if they're going to get 10,000, 20,000. They know that there's about 52,000 bank accounts over there.
But the teeth that the U.S. government has, they may not be so sharp because they can only really go after these people if they have assets here in the U.S.
Right, and and the bulk of people who do have Swiss bank accounts are in the high net worth class, so they are going to have some U.S. assets. There's going to be something there that the IRS could attach to if they find fraud in their Swiss banking transactions.
All right, this is all tied, as you mentioned, to trying to pay for the bailout, trying to generate new revenue. So let's talk about potential tax law changes. Do you think increased income tax rates are on the horizon?
Yes, I do, and President Obama's made no secret about that. He knows that there's got to be increased revenue to pay for all the spending we have. Going after Swiss bank accounts is one revenue stream. Increasing taxes is another. And like I say, there's no secret there. We think that income tax rates are going to go up. That could happen mid-year next year, but it could be retroactive to January 1st. That's the nature of income tax increases. Then capital gains and dividend tax rates going from 15 to 20% is almost a given. And then, more to come there. We just don't know. We're trying to plan for clients around all this, and it's kind of a black hole as we go into 2010.
Well, when you talk about capital gains taxes, isn't it almost a good thing if you've got to pay it, because that means your investments have turned around and you're making money again?
Yeah, you're right. Whenever we go through a cycle like this, there is a lag, and it could be 2 or 3 years before people are really into the capital gains. So it is actually an easier time to pass an increase because people are kind of just blowing it off, saying, okay, yeah, I don't have to worry about that for a couple of years, but it will come back and haunt some people down the road.
There's more to come, and the average Joe's sitting back and saying, look, we're struggling now to survive. You tax us even more, what are we going to do?
Right, and we might see some transactions towards the end of the year here that are just kind of crammed through to take advantage of 2009 and people trying to declare income in this year before tax rates go up. So you're going to see some shuffling as we close out 2009.
Joe Krier, always insightful. Thanks for your advice.